What's going on, YouTube? It is Team Gradelock here. I'm your host, Henrico, and sit with my wonderful, beautiful faces out there. It's just miss you, love you. Now, today we have a very special deck profile. This deck profile is Link Jokers, and obviously it's Deletors because we have the Deletor starter. This deck is pure Deletors, not Deletors Messiah.
What format?
Premium format. I do apologize. This is for premium format if you guys can't tell. But yes, we have deck profile of Deletors, and John's going to take it away.
Yeah, guys, so this is the premium Deletor deck that we have been playtesting with here in the group. Been doing fairly well in terms of testing. Does well in terms of tournament as well. I say this with experience because when we went to Toronto, this was the deck that I went in with for Team League. And I did that because I forgot Bermudas at home. But that is a story for another day. But for now, yeah. We decided to go with pure Deletors here, not Deletor Messiah, because the rush value on just pure Deletors is, in my opinion, a lot more valuable, I guess would be the word to say.
God tier.
Yeah, when you wombo combo, you just go off. Starter, we still play Zuigi. We don't play forward like we normally do. We actually only play 2, just for the sheer fact that with the new Given doesn't actually retire. Given discards cards from hand, so his effect becomes less effective. However, on stuff like your for stuff like your strides that actually do retire, or your triple rare grade 3, what's his name? Given? Not Given. Oh, Grayon, yeah. They actually do retire. Like, he still has some value in there, so we do still play 2 of it. 1 is the starter, and then 1 just in case you need to search it out. You can search it out with the rare grade 2. Grade 3, we play 4 of the new Grayon. The one from the trial deck, the Imaginary Gift Force ability. And then everything else about him is pretty standard. Counterblast 2 for the delete, and then on hit, Soul Blast 1 to bind one of your opponent's units face down. We play him instead of the G-Rare. G-Rare? V-Rare? V-Rare.
VR.
Guys, there's so many rarities. I'm so sorry. So we play 4 of it as opposed to the VR because the VR is good on, and theoretically it's good for Messiah because you would ride into it, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, delete the opponent's Vanguard, and then you would go into a stride. With this, as soon as you ride into him, you can Counterblast 2 and delete your opponent's Vanguard, so it's better in terms of the rush. Especially because in this deck, we play a lot more things that let us restand our whole board. So we try to push into our opponent as hard as we can. That plus the force is actually really good. The plus 10k power is really good for deletion. So because if you're a 23k Vanguard on a 0k, it's just more punishing. So we play for that. We play 3 of this guy. The on retire, you get to draw a card, and the when placed Soul Blast 2, it gets 5k, and then when it's on the Vanguard, you get to delete your opponent's Vanguard. We play 3 of it for the sheer and simple fact that you don't always want to ride him if you can. It's good on the turns where you're not going to go on a ride. If you're not going to stride into something that isn't, what's his face, into Aeodian over here. But more times than not, with this deck, that's the only stride you're going to be going into. So you namely want him on the side as a beater. But he's okay time to time when you place him on Vanguard Circle. If he's your only ride, he's at least a sure way to get a delete off. And then we play 1 Gradelock because it's still good. On the off chance that your opponent makes you go first, you draw into it, and you get first grade 3 ride. It's still good as your first optimal ride because you can still go off, delete, heavy rush with things like your stand triggers and your starter. And still board wipe, and you can still do Given's effect if you really wanted to. You won't get as much potential restand, but you still can create a tremendous amount of pressure with this card, which is really, really good. Grade 2s, we play 4 of the Gale from the trial deck. Good 10k body. Good as a first turn ride too, because for the Soul Blast 1, if your opponent's not committing to board, it gives you a free draw. Otherwise, it's good to just snipe units in the early game. 10k, like I said, 10k body is also good just in case for defense. Very, very good, just an overall solid card, especially on deletion turns, because this with an Aeodian, 12k on place, that's a 16k by itself, which is super nice. 4 of course, the new Given. This effect is, in my honest opinion, much better than the old Given. Just for the sheer fact that this card can restand G units. It doesn't just restand grade 3 units. So on Aeodian turns, it's super deadly. They have to deal with 2 to potentially 3 Vanguard attacks because it's also not once per turn. If you get a stand trigger and you stand up the Given, if you swung with it, then restand your Vanguard, get the stand trigger, you can restand the Given. You can commit harder and restand your Vanguard again while they're still deleted. So you can literally push them for an OTK, which is hilarious sometimes. However, I will say this, there are some games where I wish I had one of the old Given. Just because, you know, when you're on grade 3, is less resources that you have to commit. You're not so much discarding, you're retiring, so you have the potential to call more units to the board. But that is just my honest opinion. If you guys feel like 4 is the way to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I think a 3-1 split is actually really good. We still play 3 Evo. This card is the tutor for the deck. For those who don't know, it's Counterblast 2 when your opponent's Vanguard is deleted and he's placed. Search your deck for any card with Deletor in its card name and call it. So it's really good if you just want to automatically get your Givens. If you want to get key pieces like maybe like a stand trigger, or you want to get the second starter, this will help you get there. Overall, still very good for utility. If your opponent rushes you, it'll just help you get more resources faster onto the board and potentially just give you more resources for endgame overall. Yeah, I still think it's a very good card. Yeah. Searching things in your deck is good, from what I hear. 4 of the Deletor PG. Just for the sheer fact that if I were to run draw PGs, those draw PGs would be non-deleters because the draw PGs are vacuum, which is more of like a Messiah card, which is fine, but having the Deletor name is a little more important in my honest opinion, and the fact that you can just bind him to get the plus 4k just for more aggression is still really good. So I value that a little more. So that's why I would run 4 of the Igala over here. And then this card, definitely want to run 4 of this. So we run, I think his name is Gain. I believe his name is Gain. So his ability is Auto Rearguard Circle. At the end of the battle that he attacked, you can retire him, discard a card from your hand, draw, then choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less rearguards and retire it. Now in Standard, it doesn't seem as good. In Premium, though, it's really freaking good because if you go against Ezel, this is how you kill Ezel. You call this, swing, kill their Lion starter, now they can't Superior Ride on you. And then you respond by the leader rushing them back. It's very funny and very satisfying. 3 of the Deletor pitch for stride. I think I'd actually would play 4. I was playing 3 for the tournament in Toronto. I just wouldn't know what I would cut, in my honest opinion. I guess if you really wanted to, you can be a real baller and take out 1 PG and run 4 pitch for stride. But you don't have to. We play him because we mainly only stride into Deletor Vanguards. And the fact that for the Counterblast 1, you can call a free unit onto board. So if you need a free unit, he's good. He has value there. Yeah. Again, you want to try and be running as many Deletors as possible. However, I say that, and we're running a non-Deletor card in here, which I will get to in a minute. But first, so we play 2 of the old round. This is the double rare from the Vanguard and Deletor set. The reason why we play this one in particular is because his effect lets you draw. And you want to be able to draw into as many combo pieces as you possibly can. You want to be drawing into your Givens, drawing into your pitch for strides, drawing into your Evos, drawing into anything you need to just absolutely rush your opponent's face in. Because you want to try and be killing them as fast as possible. And just having a card that helps you do that is really good. Plus 2, which is fine because he's searchable with Evo. Okay, so for triggers, very simple. We play 4 of the new PG, just for the sheer fact that it's a 20k shield, it's plus 10k power, and the heal being a non-deleter doesn't hurt as much. It does when you sack a card and the top card of your deck is a heal trigger. That part, it does hurt a lot, but other than that, it's really not that much of an issue. I personally haven't found an issue with it. Yeah, nothing else to say about that. For triggers, We play 8 Deletor stand triggers, 4 of them being FMS, 4 of them being Eddy. Eddy's really good because it helps you draw through your deck faster when your opponent's Vanguard is deleted. FMS is really good on Aeodian turns, as well as when you go into Gradelock, I believe. Is it named Gradelock? Yeah, when you go into Gradelock, it helps because it gets a free unit on board and it's 5k, unless it's the heal trigger, which does happen sometimes. And then we play the generic Deletor stand trigger, only because I wouldn't want to play any other stand trigger that's non-deleters, and I wouldn't want to play any new triggers, just for the sheer fact that you want to be standing as many of your units as you possibly can. You want to multi-attack with this deck as much as you possibly can, because trying to hit your opponent's Vanguard consistently for 0k is really good. And if you hit a, like I said, if you hit a stand trigger on the given turn, you can restand your G unit, which is really good. So we go swing, then swing with given, restand your Vanguard, swing, get a stand trigger, restand given, swing with given, restand your Vanguard. Cheeky plays. Okay, on to the G-Zone. G-Zone is, I'll be honest, guys, it's not very specific. You can be very flexible with this deck, just for the sheer fact that you can play, I think, yeah, so in the tournament I was playing Egg Orgs. I forgot the Egg Orgs at home, unfortunately. So you can play the Egg Orgs in substitution for some of these cards, so keep that in mind. So we played 2 Big Crunch Dragon, 2 for the overall board control, just in case you have multi-attacking decks that are really problematic. You have a way of locking down the deck, but it's not necessary because more than often than not, you're trying to rush them, you're trying to kill them. We play 2 of the Amnesty Messiah, in case you go against the Link Joker matchup. You have a way to counter it, unlocking the board. 2 of the Flagellant Messiah. Again, more countering for Link Joker Mirror, but overall not necessary. Yeah.
Would you say that at least a good third of the extra deck is
a good third of this.
Yeah,
I was gonna say a good third of this deck is like more toward the mirror match. And then where we get into the nitty gritty is, so we play 1 of this guy over here. This is basically the stride that if you have no cards in hand, you can stride into it for free. And then for sacking 3 units, you can delete your opponent's Vanguard. You rarely go into this, but there are situations where you hard guarded a lot of your opponent's swings and you barely lived, and then your top deck for turn was nothing, but it is something that you can sack for him, so you go into him anyway, so you can delete your opponent's Vanguard, because a 0k is still nice. And then the absolute bread and butter of this deck, in my honest opinion, for Aeodian, this card is still really good, still very busted. Deleting your opponent's Vanguard for little to no cost, especially when you're sacking off units that want to be sacked. Giving your board power, swinging in, combo that with given, giving them more power, swinging in again. It's just still an overall good card. This, more than not, is the card you're going to be striding into your entire game, and you'll probably die, or they'll die before you go into anything else. More times than not. And then for G-Guards, we play 1 Destiny Guardian, because it counters the Link Joker Mirror. I really have no other logic behind that. Link Joker, unfortunately, doesn't have as many good G-Guardians as I thought. 1 Locus Karina, just for the board control. This will help backboard if they're being really annoying. 1 Maxwell, just because it's a generic 5k trigger. Again, any of these can be swapped out for Egg Orgs. If you have Egg Orgs from the new Revival Collection, you can do that, which is really good. And then lastly, we play 2 Ebioris. Very good G-Guardian in this deck, because it's going to minus your opponent's entire front board unless they play Resist. Then you cry internally on the inside. But yeah, more times than not, you're going to be using this to help control the board and to minus your opponent's front board, which is very good. Overall, I would say the deck is very Glass Cannon. It's a very one-shot Trick Pony sort of deck. You either get your combo off and they kill you, you kill them, or you die on the following turn. You can play a little more resourceful if you want to with the deck, but just the way I see it, it's very, very Glass Cannon. But it's very fun. A very fun deck. Yeah, that's about it.
So, will you be taking this deck back to White Plains?
No, I will not.
Aww.
I will. Or
Henry will. I will be swimming with the fishes.
It means Bermuda Triangle. Alright then. Well, guys, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. We're going to have more deck profiles for you guys. We're going to have more Cardfight Vanguard content for you guys. So,
I'm more excited for the next one, guys. I get to show you my meme overlords. That's going to be great.
Alright, guys, stay tuned. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Deuces!
Deuces.
I hate all of you.